So we'll call the meeting to order at 6:10. And we're waiting on Beverly. Clarence is on?
Mm-hmm.
And I am, Chase is, Roseanne is not, Wilmer is, and Sean is. And then also Keith is on, and Patrice is on, and Sima.
No, Patrice is not.
No Patrice.
No.
Okay.
Sima.
And Kathy Chase.
Oh, and
Gotcha.
yes,
And Kathy Chase, right?
yes.
Wilmer says he's on mute.
We have, I don't
Gotta
think
watch.
there's-
Oh, sorry, Scoot's on mute. No, don't look like it.
No.
Wilmer, can you hear me? Maybe that's from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I can.
Okay, just wanna
Okay,
make sure.
we're
Thank
good.
you.
I just
saw your
Okay.
message.
So I don't
Okay.
think there's any unfinished business. Anybody have any unfinished business? Okay. So the first item under new business is, no? We're gonna do that last, right?
That 2020?
Yeah.
I think that was a mistake. If you look, it was dated from last year, April of 19.
I saw that. I did see
Yeah,
that.
I think
Okay.
it was just put on
Left
the
on
agenda
there?
and by
Great.
mistake.
Okay. So the first item is 2020-683 Thames Street repairs. And I believe that, Keith, you want to take just a short explanation? I know there was information sent to all of us. So hopefully people read up on it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bruce. I don't know if you saw the letter. I sent a letter to John outlining the repairs. Last year, we had a catastrophic failure of part of Thames Street in the retaining wall down where Thames Street comes into Eastern Point, Pequannock Road, and Smith, right there where Electric Boat is. And it took us a while to get all the engineering done, the bids done, and things like that. But the total cost of the project is right now is $316,481.50. And what we're doing is we had leftover highway money that wasn't spent last year, so I wanted to use that and that because what we were going to do is take it out of the budget. But since we have the money, I was going to use that leftover highway money for this. And then I met with Electric Boat on a couple of occasions to negotiate an amount because this is on the fence and part of the retaining wall is on the boundary line. And so we negotiated $53,000 from them. So what the remainder would be that I'm asking the town to provide is $69,969.50. So that's what the request is, and that's why it is. It's for the retaining wall part of the road collapse, the curbing and the groundwater, the MS4 stuff, that was not breached, so that's good. So it'll still carry the water away. But there was piles of rubble that had to be removed. There was a security fence, and we had to negotiate wires and a bunch of stuff like that. They're still working. They should finish here in the next week or so, and then that'll be done.
Could you repeat that
And
number
now,
again?
what's that?
Could you repeat the number again? I'm sorry, because it doesn't. Oh, it's 6996950.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Keith.
So that's it in a nutshell. Thank you.
I would open it up to the people in the meeting. Are there any questions for Keith?
I had no questions. No.
Yeah, I have no questions.
Okay. I only had one question, Keith, and that is was there a contingency plan, like a 10%, right there, a 10% contingency?
We did. I think it was a 10% contingency that we put on this whole thing. I don't know if the background information behind that has it or not, but there was contingency that was put in there, Bruce. Right now, they have not, to my knowledge, based on the report that I got from Tim Umritz and Heidi Camo out of Public Works, out of Highway, they're on schedule and on budget. They're not looking to be over budget on this, so we should be fine on this.
Great.
I see Beverly.
Yay, Bev.
Hey,
Bruce.
Hi, Beverly, and I will, we're talking about item 4.2, the 2020 Thames Street repairs. And Keith made a short, introduction of the money that we're looking for. And we were having it open to questions, and at this point, I can turn the chairmanship back over to you.
No, keep going.
Bev, your finger's right on the camera.
There you go.
Okay.
Bruce, did that answer your question?
It did, thanks, yep. It did,
Okay.
thanks, Keith.
All right, good.
Is this, do we vote, does the committee vote on
Makes
it?
a recommendation
Okay.
to the full RTM.
And does somebody make a motion? Does somebody want to make a motion to accept the repairs?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
So the motion is a general contingency transfer to the city of Groton, and the amount is $69,969.50, right? So that was, the motion was made by Bev, and it was seconded by,
Who seconded?
Clarence.
Clarence.
great. Is there any further discussion on the item?
Well, let me add something. If we go under on this, I'm not. What I'm looking to do is, I've already looked at where the money's coming from. So I've already agreed to the 193 and then the 53. So the 69, if they're under, it'll be less than your portion will be less than that.
Great.
All right, thank you, Keith. I was actually going to ask about the variance, if that was already approved, that the town doesn't have to do anything with regard to that.
Well, we put a 10% contingency in. Now, they're not 100% done, but I can't imagine them going over at this point. If they do go over, and I'm incorrect in what I'm stating now, then I may come back to you. But if I'm on budget, or if I'm under budget, then I'm looking to use, my sources of funding up there, and then I'll come to you guys last.
That's fair. That's great.
Okay.
I mean, that's my intent. I don't think my finance guy's going to say, well, we'll just divvy it up between the three. I don't know. I mean, if we got money there to do it and EB has agreed, I'm going to need to invoice them. But they've agreed in concept, and I have an agreement in an email. We should be fine on this. So, the way that we're trying to address this is to be fiscally responsible in the whole part and parcel of this.
Okay, and also I have a question. I guess without getting too deep into the details, the $53,000 that EB has agreed to, is that a fair amount? It seems kind of low if it's something that's on their property as well.
Well, it is. It's a fair amount. What we did was I had my engineers and my local guys go through the line item breakdown, and then I went to EB, and originally the amount was $100,000 when I thought that the cost was going to be $300. I mean, it was like $396 or way up there. And then when we awarded the low bid, I went back and renegotiated with Electric Boat based on the changes in cost from the line items that the winner of the bid got. So this is based on, it's not cutting the things in thirds and halves and that kind of thing. It's based on the work that is appropriate for Electric Boat. For example, my argument to Electric Boat was, I have to have the retaining wall, but I don't have to have the fence.
Got it.
So I want you guys to pay for the fence, and then there's some other stuff. Now, in addition to that, there's some other things that EB did that they were going to pay for. For example, the hauling of all the debris that got washed down into their second fence. So nobody had to. We didn't have to deal with that. I didn't have to. You didn't have to. So the question is, is the $53,000 fair and accurate? Yeah, it is. And we went through and we went line by line on what should we negotiate and how much should we negotiate with them.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for Keith, or?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, Keith, is this, in my world, we call it a reimbursement-based contract. So you are going to pay this whole bill, and then you're going to invoice the other entities involved?
Yes, yes.
So
Because
that,
we have to invoice. EB didn't want to put all the money out up front. What they said was, at the end, give us an invoice with the breakdown of what was done, and we'll pay for that. But we negotiated the $53,000 up front, and then I'm coming to the town because what we'll do is we'll send you guys an invoice for the amount that.
so you and EB will pay, and then if it comes in under budget, we won't owe the whole $69,009, correct?
Well, that's what I think right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't talk to Ron specifically, but I think that makes sense. I don't have a problem using up the leftover money from last year, and then the 53 from EB, and then whatever's left, you guys end up having to pay, because if we go over, I'll be coming back to you. But I don't think we're going to go over.
So you'll
Keith,
use all of your resources first, though, before you come back to us, correct?
That's what I'm looking at, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Keith, this is Wilmer. With that being said, if you do go over, does EB look at picking up a percentage of that as well, or are they fixed to that amount?
Well, I don't know, because we didn't talk about going over. I'd have to see from the billing where they went over. If they went over in line items that I negotiated with Electric Boat, I would go back to Electric Boat and renegotiate with them.
Okay, and if
right now, I don't think we're going to go over. Right now, I was told we should be on track or maybe under.
okay, and just so that the town is aware, if they don't budge and they stick to 53, are we picking up the rest of it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So just that. So everything.
EB didn't have to say yes to any of this.
Understood.
EB could have said, you know what, not my problem. But the way that I negotiated with them is based on maintaining a good and long-term relationship with them. And we talked about line items that we felt were shared responsibilities. And I ended up having, 3 or 4 meetings before we had the first final, yes, we'll agree to that. And then that was just before Christmas. And then after we got the final bids in, I went back to them and said, your number's going to be less, and here's why. And so that's where it is. So we're trying to be fair. We're trying to be fair to everybody and trying to do this the right way.
All right. Thank you.
Hey Keith, this is Beverly. I tried to figure out from the picture that you sent where the wall was. Where exactly is the retaining wall?
Okay, so Thames Street comes into 4 corners down there. There's Thames Street, Smith Street comes down, Pequannock goes up, and Eastern Point Road goes up. Right there at that 4 corners, just a little bit north, coming back a little bit, almost directly across from, what's the guy's name? There's a little restaurant right there on the corner. that portion was washed out. And
Okay.
so,
Is it
now
Appy's?
one of the, what's that?
Appy's?
No,
Is it
well, I guess that's the old Appy's, but yeah, there's a little restaurant down there on the corner. He does a lot of catering. I forget what his name is.
Okay,
But,
I know what you're talking about. It's
Okay,
past
that's where it
Garbo's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's way past Garbo's.
Raise?
It's up there near where the light is. It's where the light is to turn, where you turn right to go up the hill at EB.
Okay, all right.
It's all the
Thanks,
way
Keith.
down there.
All right.
And here's the other thing, when they dug this out, I mean, you gotta remember, this goes way back. You didn't have concrete and cement in there. These are boulders and big rocks that were used as part of the retaining wall. This is one of the challenges you have when you have streets in the town of Groton that are as old as some of our streets are. I mean, you see this in portions of Mystic, you see it in Noank, and you see it here on Thames Street.
When do you think the work will start?
Oh, the work's almost done. They
Oh, it's
should be
almost done.
Yeah, it should be done here in the next couple weeks, Beth.
Ah, okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, thanks for negotiating with EB to pay some of this, to pay for some
Well,
of this.
we felt it was the right thing. I mean, originally people said, I don't think you're going to be able to get anything out of them. And I said, well, if you don't ask, the answer is no. But if you do ask, then maybe that'll help offset the cost, and we'll figure it out. And so it works favorably for all of us in the end.
Very good. Does anybody have any other questions for Keith? Well, we have a motion and a second. So all those in favor, I think we'd say aye, but do we just do it by a group, or do we do it individually, or
I think probably individually.
individually, right?
We
Because we
don't-
can't
yeah,
see
we
people?
can't well,
You could do it as a group, Bruce, and then if when you say, any opposed, if, catch that, you know what I
Okay,
mean?
I got you. Good call, Sim. Yep.
We can raise our hand up.
So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those, any opposed? Any abstentions? Then that would pass 6-0. Great. Thank you, Keith.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to sign off.
okay.
Thanks, Keith.
Take care.
Thanks. This worked out well.
The next item is 4.3, 2020.168-2, refunding of general obligation bonds, lots A and B. And Cindy is here to give us an overview? Yeah? Yeah.
Earlier in the week, I had sent you a link to, our financial advisor had given an overview to the COW, and I hope that you were able to listen to that, because he's not at this meeting, but he will be at the full RTM. But he gave a very good explanation of what refunding bonds are. But in simple language, it's just like refinancing your house. We sold the bonds in 2011, 2013, and 2014. And looking at today's environment, we have the opportunity to technically refinance those at a lower interest rate. So I think I also provided you the referral that I sent to the council, as well as his presentation to the council. And there are two sets of bonds. There's we call them Lot A and Lot B, because Lot A would be our general fund bonds, or general obligation bonds, and Lot B would be sewer bonds. And these happen to be bonds that are paid for by the sewer operating fund. So based on the analysis that our financial advisor has done, we anticipate that there would be a total for the general fund would be about a $1.4 million savings, and for the sewer operating fund about $100,000 savings. And we would plan to do this in April, when we go and have the new money issue for the school bonds. So I think that that's a very brief overview of it. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them for you.
Anybody have questions for Cindy?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Chase.
So this is more just in terms of the requirement of who actually needs to approve this. So this isn't explicitly stated in the charter. So I went to the Connecticut state statutes. Specifically, it's chapter 109, section 370. And it just points to a approval of the legislative body. And it talks about town council or RTM. So it seems like with the town council approval, that would cover this?
Our bond counsel didn't want any question later, so out of an abundance of prudence, she said, well, let's do both.
Because the refunding bonds are covered under a separate statute than the regular bonding.
Right, yes.
Yeah,
she did
just to make sure no one could complain later, challenge it, let's just do this step, right?
And that has been the past practice, that refunding bonds have always come to the RTM. I believe that statute says the legislative body, town council, I think it even identifies a representative town meeting.
It does.
Yeah.
But it just uses the language "or" is the only reason why it seemed like one or the other was all that was needed.
Right. But I think bond counsel, like John said, would just rather to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
Thanks, Chase. Does anybody else have any questions for Cindy? From my perspective, I did watch some of the town council, and I saw Councilor Zapiri ask about the cost to do it, and that it was like $200,000, but it was wrapped into the savings. So there's still a $1.4 million savings, taking into consideration the costs it would take to refinance.
Correct.
So for me, that's all I really needed to know. So certainly support it. It is kind of odd that you have to get approval to save that much money.
Exactly, right,
But,
right.
I can't imagine who would complain about saving money.
right.
Right, yeah.
So.
I will, because we're not saving enough.
We're trying.
The beginning, Beth, the
Joking.
beginning.
Good job, Cindy.
So is this is it authorizing the issuance of not exceeding 22?
Just won't have to read that whole thing.
Is that the?
I think if you adopt the resolution, authorizing the refunding, I think.
The resolve.
I make a motion to...
Wait 1 second. Cindy, I have one question. When I was listening to the town council's discussion, you said that 22 million is only half of the town's debt, right?
I believe that is what, I'm trying to find if I brought that.
I was just wondering if that was only half of the town's debt, how come you can't go out and do all the debt if it's gonna be cheaper?
There's only certain timelines from when you can do this. These are the only ones eligible right now.
Oh, okay.
I believe when he was talking about that, we were talking about the new money, which I apologize, I did not bring that referral with me here tonight.
The school money, the Groton
Right.
2020.
I had 2 referrals to the council that night.
Okay, so the resolution is, you had it, I'm sorry.
My are we going to do that or just read what's the?
You don't have a motion on the floor, do you?
No, we're gonna, no.
Have to do it.
But we need a motion. Go ahead, Chase.
Do I need to read the entire resolution?
No, under the alternatives.
Authorizing the issuance of refunding bonds.
Yeah, and to refer it 653. Well, that was the one.
Yeah.
That was with the
Yeah.
council.
Oh, that's
so
fine.
I've already
Okay.
So
said
just,
that,
yeah, authorizing the bond.
So we have a motion from Chase. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Bev. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution as is, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Abstentions? Then that would pass, what did I say, 6 to 0?
6-0.
6 to 0 to 0.
Great.
And this next item is consideration of committee referral items as per referral list. I don't think there are any. So I think we just need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn. Second.
We are adjourned.